So now we'll take up one more shloka. The 6th shloka. He says, I am here going to tell you one more secret is what coming out of this Upanishad now. He says, Hantata idam pravakshyami guhyam brahma sanatanam yatha cha maranam prapya atma bhavati Gautama. Again, Gautama means one rishi, a clan of that rishi, or it could, the Upanishad in this definition, they're saying that it has been told to Nachiketa, but Nachiketa's actual name is not Gautama. But they may be addressing like that, or this could be an addendum to the original Upanishad, whichever way, doesn't matter. Think you are the Gautama and you are being told. What is being told? He's saying, Hanta, here, now, I will tell you, idam pravakshyami, I shall tell you this great secret, guhyam. Guhyam means secret. What's Brahma Sanatanam? About the eternal Brahman. Also I will tell you, yathacha, maranam prapya, after death. What happens to Atma? Atma bhavati. What happens to this Atman, the Jivatma? We have two things we said, Jivatma and the Paramatma. So the Jivatma part of it I'll tell you, under the divine play, the divine rules, what happens to the soul, individual soul, after death. That is the question. Death means when the body is dropped away, then what happens to this soul? Let me tell you that secret also. This subject about the eternal Brahman we have already heard. Now I am also going to tell you about what happens to the soul after the body is given up. It says, Yonim anye prapadyante sharirattvaya dehinaha sthanum anye anusanyanti yatha karma yatha shrutam. Very important shloka. You can mark it and remember it also later. Memorize it. This shloka means Yonim anye prapadyante sharirattvaya dehinaha. Now we know Deha and Dehi, two are there. Deha is the house. Dehi is the indweller, the one who is living in the house owner. So Dehi Naha, the house owner, what does he do when the house falls apart beyond repairs? What does he do? That is what he is telling. When the house falls apart, the house owner moves into a next house. This is a 100-year-old house. It cannot be any more sustained. Municipality center notice, your house is dangerous, it can fall any time. You go to the new house. Then you say what? Okay, fine. I'll move to the next house. So like that, this Atma, Jivatma, Sharirattvaya, after having given up this body, Prapadyante, attains or goes where? Yonim Anye, into another Yoni. Yoni is what? Garbha is called Yoni, or a particular species is also called a Yoni. A particular birth is called a Yoni. For example, we are in Manava Yoni, Manushya Yoni. We are all human species. Like that, there are Jantus there, that is also Yonis. Birds and beasts and animals and fish, frogs, rats, insects, ants, everything is a Yoni. Similarly, there are Deva Yonis also. You are born as gods and demigods and semi-gods and yakshas, kinnaras, gandharvas. So there are so many types are there. And Pitru Yoni is there when people go and settle down in the Pitruloka. So according to your merits of the previous birth, you go to separate Yonis. So Yoni Manye Prapadyante Sharirattvaya Dehina. And what else? Not just getting into a physical body of either an animal or a beast or a bird or a human being or a devata. Also Sthanu Manye Anusayanti. You can also get into or take a next birth as Sthanum. Sthanum means immovable. It could be a tree, it could be a stone, piece of earth, a mountain, it could be anything. You may become that too in the next birth. Anusanyanti, you go towards that, means you become that. Why it happens that you get into different types of births in different bodies, or you even can become a tree or a stone. Why it happens? Yatha karma, yatha shrutam. These are the two secret key words. Yatha karma means whatever actions you have performed, whatever practices you have undertaken in this birth, whatever habits, whatever likes and dislikes you have developed in this birth. Based on that, and one other reason what? Yatha shrutam, whatever you have heard. Heard means not just shrutam means heard. Shruti means all that you have learnt also. Like Vedas you have heard, truth you have heard, truth of. You remember last time we said, even at the Shraddha Kale Vapi, At Shraddha Kala also is somebody Shravayet, this particular Kathopanishad is spoken of by somebody who has purified himself in Brahma Samsadi, in the assembly of Brahmins. If somebody speaks about it, Anantyaya Kalpate, attains the infinite, it is said. So Yatha Shrutam, whatever you have learned and whatever you have practiced, see both are there. You have learnt a lot. I am Brahman, I am beyond the body, but never practiced anything. That can be one. Or you have been doing all kinds of things, but you have not learnt why you should not have done it. That is why at the end, in this Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, it says, Kim sadhu na akarvam. Why did I not behave like a sadhu in this birth? Ayyo, they cry. Kim papam akarvam iti. Why did I behave like a sinner? Why did I not behave like a saint? Like that the soul laments. So yatha karma yatha shrutam. Why did I behave like this? Because I didn't learn anything properly. Or even if I had learnt everything properly, I did not practice. So I behaved like this. So yesterday I told you the story of Arjuna. He learnt all Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. At the end of it, he didn't practice. He was busy with his kingdom and queens and all that. That all mattered. He never wanted Atma Jnana, never wanted moksha. So he didn't get it. So even if you have heard all this yatha shrutam, but yatha karma, you have not behaved according to this knowledge. I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Now little sickness, all what is going to happen? Then you have not practiced what has been told. So practice, that's why there is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Shratha Shrutam is the Shravanam. And let's say Mananam also. Yatha Karma is Nididhyasanam, you have to put into the practice. So therefore when you do that, according to that you take the next birth. Into various bodies. It could be animal, bird. Don't think you are born as human, so next time you cannot go down, you will only go up. No, there is nothing like that. You can go down into lower bodies also. And worst case scenario, you can become a tree or a mountain or a piece of stone also. Buddha's stories are there, Jataka tales. In that he sees 84 of his previous births. And each of these births, he is a different thing. Even once he is a tree. So, various births we take. So, what decides what birth we take? What marks you have got in this class decides whether you go to the next class first. And in the next class, what subjects are offered to you? Science, arts, commerce, and other various things. Because it's based on your interest and based on your subjects. So, if you are left with any desire at the end of your life, I wanted to experience this. For that sake, you will be born again in such a situation where you have to experience that. That is what Mundaka Upanishad says. Kama bir jayate tatra tatra. You are born because of your desires in such places. So why you are born in your family, to your parents? It's because some karma, some desires of the past can be fulfilled only when you are with them in this birth. Otherwise you cannot fulfill it. Therefore you are born in that family only. Why in that village only? Because in that village only you can undertake whatever was pending in the previous birth. So for that, so why did you all land up here today? Yatha karma yatha shrutam. You have been guided by your previous births. So it means how many births you have done, how much good. That you have developed some interest in God and godly things. This is not the first time. All this is decided by your previous birth's karmas. It's just not happened. There is no coincidence in this world. That's why I keep telling. There is nothing called coincidence. Everything God has accordingly put you according to your likes, dislikes. And something doesn't happen just like that. So you may curse, why I have a father like this? My father doesn't listen to me. Why my mother is like that? She always scolds me. Because you decided to be born in such a family. Why? Because of your previous janmas, whatever you had done. Like electricity entering a bulb becomes light. Electricity entering the fan becomes wind. Electricity entering an oven becomes heat. And the mic, it becomes sound. Likewise, same electricity appears in many ways. Like that, sthanu manyas anusayanti. Brahman is there in that piece of stone also. If you enter that, know that Brahman can enter that way also. So I just wanted, this shloka is very, very key, central to the idea of Sanatana Dharma. In Sanatana Dharma, of course, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is the highest philosophy of Vedanta. But those who don't understand that, to keep them disciplined, the other rule is karma and punarjanma. This is the rules of Sanatana Dharma. At Vedantic level, Brahman alone exists. At the Dvaita Bhava level, karma, punarjanma. These two are there. You, based on your actions, you are born again and again. So I'll tell you one story. That's enough for today. I will tell you a story of Jada Bharata. You know Jada Bharata? Who is Jada Bharata? Bharata, what we call India, Bharata, it is derived from the name of one king by name Bharata. This Bharata was a great king, so much so that before Bharata was there, whole of this, the India was not as small as this. India was very vast, all the way till Turkey and beyond, and this side Indonesia. India was as far as that. And this Bharata used to rule the whole of this. Therefore it was called Bharata Varsha. Before that it was called Ajanabha Varsha, based on the another king Ajanabha. So there is a story. This Bharata ruled for many, many years, and he had 5 sons, and he ruled in a very just way. There was never a king as good as Bharata. He was known for his yagna yagas, his administration, his great valor and courage, and expansion of the kingdom, keeping everybody happy in the praja. And after 5 sons were married off, he divided the kingdom into 5 portions and gave it to his 5 children, and he went to the forest, Vanaprastha ashrama. It is a compulsory thing. Even if you are a king, at the end of your life, you have to give up all your palace, wife, children, comforts, servants, wealth. Now you have duty towards God. So you have to move out of the Grihastha ashrama, and you can't say, okay, I am going on to the ashrama. Can I carry my refrigerator and TV and microwave and television and internet? No, nothing you can carry. Just a piece of cloth and go away, leaving everything behind. So you can imagine a king who ruled so much of the kingdom, how luxurious must be his life. There will be servants to attend to every little need of his. Whatever he wants, he could order and eat. Whatever he can wear. Such a king decides, enough is enough. As per the ashrama dharmas, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa, I must move out of grihastha, go off to vanaprastha and eventually sannyasa and die there in the forest. So he leaves his kingdom and goes to Haridwar. You know where is Haridwar? Ganga, where Ganges comes down after Rishikesh, that is Haridwar. So near Haridwar in those forests, there was an ashram of Pulastya Muni called Pulaha Ashrama. And the river which flows by it, the stream is called Gandaki. So this is where the ashrama was there, and this river was flowing Gandaki. And which is one of those rivers which flow into Ganges eventually, the streams are there. So in that ashrama side, this Bharata settled down, made a small hut for himself, and daily he will spend his time in meditation, reading the scriptures, chanting mantras, doing his pujas, homas, havanas, and thinking of Brahman. That was his main job. Keep thinking so much that you become Brahman at the end. 50% of your life you have thought about world. Next 50 you have to think about God. That is the main principle of 2 ashrama dharmas to get into the world, 2 ashrama dharmas to get out of the world. Brahmacharya and Grihastha to get into the world, and Vanaprastha and Sannyasa to get out of the world. So that is how he was getting out of the now worldly attachments. So he was living in the Pulaha ashrama, and one day he was meditating. And what happened? He saw one deer came to drink water in the river. And it was a pregnant deer, Garbhini. When it came, it was drinking water. Suddenly a big lion roared in the forest. And this jinke got scared, this deer. And she jumped across the river to cross and go off to the other side. As it jumped, because of the pressure, the baby was born from the pregnant deer. And the baby was born, it fell into the river. And the deer fell on the other side and died. And this baby deer was floating away in the water. And this Bharata Muni was sitting there. Now he's a Muni because he has left all his thing. He realized, oh poor deer, I have to save this deer. Being the king's instinct is there, I must protect. So he ran to pick up the deer and brought that poor deer to his hut. And because it's a very small baby just born, out of compassion he started nursing and caring for it. Then what happened? Became so fond of this deer. All the time he'll be playing with the deer, and if the deer is not there for even 1 minute, he will become restless. And what happened? He was looking after the deer so much that he started forgetting his pujas and his rituals. He used to forget that. But he thought, Vinashakale Viparita Buddhi, mind will play tricks. The mind will tell him, no, it's such a baby, you are the father, you are the mother, you are the protector, it has taken refuge with you, and therefore you don't be selfish about your moksha, first you take care of this poor creature. So this Bharata also told himself, no, I should not be selfish. I should look after this baby deer. And slowly what happened? Once you loosen the schedule goes away. That's it. After that, you cannot get back to the track. So he could not get back to the track. All the time he's thinking of the deer. If he has to go to forest to pick up wood and grass and other things, he'll carry the deer with him, because just in case some other wild animal comes and eats it. And one day it so happened that the deer went missing. It has grown up now. So he went away. And this Bharata Muni, now he became very upset. He cried, and there is a Bhagavata, at least they have spent some 10-12 shlokas for the lament of Bharata about having lost the deer. Can you believe that? Sad song. And what all he talks is like a madman, he's roaming around searching for the deer. And all kinds of things he's saying. Oh, he used to sit on my chest, and when I used to sleep, it used to touch me with his soft horns. And when I was doing puja, it will disturb and I will shout, it will become quiet like a good son. All kinds of things he's imagining. Oh, look at its footprints on the earth. How pure is this earth to have received the footprints of the deer. Something and all he talks. Mad fellow. Ah, the moon, you are shining, you know where my deer is, because I am suffering with this as if my body is on fire. So you are showering cool moonlight on me and consoling me like a good friend. All kinds of things he is talking, madman. Mad after a deer. After having ruled the country and taken Vanaprastha sannyasa, he is fond of that deer. And anyway, that deer never comes back, because he has gone finding his own family and mates and other things. And Bharata in that Shoka Vilapa dies, thinking of the deer. And the deathbed also is thinking of the deer. So what happens? He is born as a deer in the Himalayas. Why? Because obviously this fellow thought of deer at the last moment. He didn't think of Brahman. He didn't think of God. And then what happens? Only good thing is that because of his good that he had done in the past, he remembered that he was the king. Even the deer remembered. So this now what? No moha. Kastvam koyam kutamayata kame janani kome tata. Forget family and everything. He ran back from without telling the mother deer that he is leaving. And he went back searching his way all the way to Pulaha ashram again. And started living in the ashram, eating only dry leaves and listening to the Veda Shastra mantras and meditating on Brahman. So as a deer, he lived a whole life in the ashram and eventually died. Now when he died, he was born again, because till we come to Narajanma, we can't attain moksha. So last stage is Narajanma. So he was born again in a Brahmin family. And that time the times had changed, another king was there. Rahu Gana his name was. This king was ruling a certain place of Sindhu and Sauvira, that's it. So that kingdom was there. He was born there in a Brahmin family. This Brahmin was a very pious man, very, very noble and very intelligent, very well read. But he already had 9 sons from his first wife. And from the second wife, he got twins. And one of the twin boy was Bharata and another was a girl. Now this Bharata was born with this jnana of the previous birth, that he has only taken human birth now to attain liberation. He is not here to enjoy the world. So from the birth he had this knowledge in him. So what did he do? He behaved like a fool. Because if he behaves a little intelligence, they'll put him in CBSE. So he behaved like a fool, though he was very intelligent. He behaved like a fool. So his father tried to teach him. And he will not listen, he will not learn, he will forget. He will repeat it all wrongly, just to irritate the father. And father was very fond of him, tried to do all kinds of things, he won't listen. He told, forget, this fellow cannot learn any Brahman, all this Shruti and all that. Let me teach him some basic ritual, how to keep himself clean, how to do puja, yajna, yagas, basics, agnihotras. He won't learn that also. He will do it all wrong, on purpose. He'll keep himself very dirty. So his father tried everything and finally gave up. Finally, father's time, death came and father died. And when he died, Bharata's mother also died with the father. That was one ritual that time. Women also will die along with the husband. Anyway, that is her choice. Now what she did, she left this Bharata and his sister in the care of the other mother. This other mother was not nice, stepmother. And all the other 9 brothers were not nice to Bharata. Because they thought they were all intelligent and this Bharata is a dull-witted fool. That's how his name became Jada Bharata. Jada means almost dull, a fool who cannot understand anything, Jada. So Jada Bharata his name became. And what will he do? He will not do anything. He will simply sit in one place. They'll give some work, he will do the work, come back and sit. Then they will feed him, they'll give him all dirty food, it seems. Leftover, eaten by worms and scraped from the bottom of the vessel. Imagine King of India going through this torture by his own family members. Look at where your thoughts, yatha karma yatha shrutam, where it goes. And this Bharata eventually, he knew that he is a Brahmagyani, but he was waiting for his body to finish its dharma, karma, whatever. And one day this Jada Bharata, he was so dirty, it seems that his clothes will be very dirty. He will not take bath at all, so that nobody comes near him and disturbs him. He wants to be away from all the attachments. And nobody will marry him naturally. It seems his Janeyu, the Yajnapavitam, would be black in color. So dirty he will be, Bhagavatam says. And on purpose. Why? Because he doesn't want any interaction with the worldly people. If he looks a little handsome, some girl will come after him. His family will say, let us get him married. So he wants to avoid all this. That's why he behaves like that. So one day what happened? He was guarding the agriculture, whatever the family's fields, farms, from the pigs and wild animals. And in the night, it so happened that one dacoits group came there. The dacoit king wanted to perform a sacrifice, a human sacrifice to Bhadrakali. For what sake? To get a son, it seems. That was some kind of idea. This Shudra community used to do that, it seems. That's what Bhagavata says. But Shudra is not necessarily community. Shudra is the buddhi, that you can kill a human for the sake of your own selfish desires. So this Jada Bharata was captured by the dacoits team, because the original fellow ran away somewhere. So they caught hold of him, and he had no problem. Anybody calls him, he'll go. So they caught him saying he's looking good. What they call it as a narapashu, means he's like animal. They have to find somebody who's just like animal, dumb, deaf, dull. Such a person alone should be sacrificed, it seems. So they found him pakka, dumb, deaf, dull. They caught him and took him, gave him nice bath, fed him well, decorated him, and took him to Bhadrakali temple to decapitate him. And as they prepared for all the puja, like fools, Bhagavata describes these fools do all kinds of things like this, thinking they'll attain something great. And the priest took out the sword to cut this fellow's neck. And as he lifted the sword, Bhadrakali got very angry. What are you doing to my devotee? He's a Brahmagyani. And she appeared. And she took that same sword and chopped the heads of all the other dacoits who were there. And it seems she and her friends, whatever the Shakini, Dakini, Pishachanis who were there with Kali, they all killed everybody and played football with the heads of the dacoits. All this description is there. And they had a party. My dacoits were killed, and this Bharata was released. He came back. Jada Bharata, it doesn't matter. That is what I'm saying. Look at Brahmagyani. Gets food to eat, not gets to eat, not bothered. Gets scoldings or praise, not bothered. Even death is not bothered. Let it be. So he comes back again. At some point in time, this King Rahu Gana is going to Kapila Muni's ashram, neighboring town. And 4 people were carrying his palanquin. And one of them became sick. So the other people started looking for some able-bodied person to carry the palanquin. And kings are king. They can pick up anybody and tell, do my work. You can't say no to a king. So these people found this Jada Bharata lying under a tree, happily sitting. And they thought this fellow is very strong. He was very muscular, very well built, it seems. So they caught hold of him and said, come here, you have to carry the palanquin. And Jada Bharata agreed. And they put him in the palanquin and he was carrying. But what he was doing, he was not carrying it evenly. He will slip, So king got angry. Why he is doing like that? He said, there are ants crawling. I don't want to step on any ants. Therefore, I have to watch and then I take the next step. Then I watch, then I take. Because the palanquin was shaking. And the king got very angry. And he sarcastically told, I think you are too old, you have walked too much, and you are so thin and lean. Therefore, I think you need rest. Sarcastically, because he had just joined, hardly walked, he is very well built and healthy. But king sarcastically told like this. He heard, he didn't react. Continued the same way, shaking the palanquin. And the king got again angry. And then he shouted at the others. Then others said, King, we are not doing, this fellow is only doing. So he tells, are you deaf? Are you dead? Are you not alive? Can't you listen to what I am saying? He started scolding. Then Jada Bharata stopped. And he turned to the king and said, you are saying you are tired, you are by bearing the palanquin and things like that. You are talking about the body, which was bearing the palanquin. Yes, it can get tired, it can get healthy. it is fat or it is thin, but I am Atman, therefore he is not listening to the king. Because king is talking to the body, he says. But I am the spirit, so therefore these instructions are not for me. Like that he argues with the king and gives him gyan that you think you are the master, I am the servant, but situations can change. I may become the master, you will become the servant. You never know. Harati nimishat kalat sarvam. Like that he started talking. The spirit which is not bound by the body, shape, age and other things, how can you address it like this? Then this king thought, this fellow is not some ordinary fool. He knows too much about this Brahma Jnana. So he got down from the palanquin and fell at Bharata's feet and told, please tell me who you are, what you are. Then he said, I am a Brahma Jnani and I was the king of Bharata. I was one of your forefathers. But because of my foolishness to attachment to a deer, this is what has happened to me. And then he gives him jnana about our Brahma Jnana. There are 2 chapters dedicated in Bhagavatam about the conversation between the king and Jada Bharata about Atma Vidya. And after that the king becomes his disciple. And then Bharata, it seems, goes and teaches this to others in the palace and then leaves and disappears. So imagine the king of India who lived a very virtuous, pious life. Nobody like him in performing yajna, yaga, sacrifices, dana, punya. Nobody like him. Till today, India is called Bharata Varsha because of that. Such a king, after having left all the moha of the palace and other things, goes to a forest to lead a pure life and attain Brahma Jnana, and ends up looking after a deer, getting attached to it, dies, becomes a deer, and after becoming a deer, he is born again as a dull-witted human being, so to say, lives a very bad life. Look at the comfort and luxury of the palace, all the name, fame and all the things. And look at now, getting old food to eat, rotten food to eat, and beaten and scolded by everybody. But he retained the Atma Vidya. That's why I said Atma Vidya, once you attain, this is permanent knowledge. Other knowledge will disappear. This birth you are born in a certain family, you became an engineer, you learnt about engineering. Next birth if you are born in somebody else's family, let's say a farmer or agriculturist, then you have to learn agriculture. Third birth you are born in somebody's family or in military, they'll put you in the army and then you have to be a military man. So you have to learn every time the knowledge again and again. You're born in India, can be born in France, can be born in Africa. The culture, language, food, everything you have to learn again and again. But one thing that you don't have to learn wherever you're born is Atma Vidya. Once you have learned that, permanent. So if Bharata can be born as a deer and suffer like a ordinary man who was the king of this country, what to talk about others who don't even realize about this truth, who are till the last moment, they're in their grasthashrama only. We have to attain realization. During the time in our world, we should be productive, we should help others, we should perform our duties without any attachment. At the end of it, whoever you are, the greatest king of the country also has to leave the kingdom, leave the house and go to an ashram and serve there, meditate, do all the spiritual activities till you naturally, like a ripened fruit, fall on your own. Till then you have to practice. This is the truth of dharma. Therefore the only way out of this is Brahma Vidya, and Brahma Vidya's only way is to practice it. Yatha karma, not just yatha shrutam. Yatha shrutam is okay. Yatha karma, after the shrutam, you should practice it in your life. Otherwise, like Arjuna, you will go down in the history as one of those unfortunate, foolish people who heard everything but who did nothing. So practice that, starting with the situation that you are in, practice. I am Brahman, everything is under Brahman's will. Body is just a temporary thing, it comes and goes. As long as the house owner wants it, house will be there. As long as Brahman wants to decide, nobody can do anything. If Brahman decides to go, nobody can stop it. So who am I? I have no control over my body. I have no control over this birth. I have no control over my growth. I have no control over anything. So I don't have any control over my death. Everything is under Brahman's control. Tell yourself this 1,000 times a day and get confirmed in this thought. Nischita matihi. Upa ni shad. Upa, as you get closer to the truth. Ni, with determination and conviction, not half-hearted, not confused, convinced. Then what will happen? Shad will happen. The destruction of illusion will happen. The loosening of this bondage will happen. And you will reach your ultimately destiny. You will start moving towards your true self. All this will happen. Then only Upanishads have found their meaning. Simply Shruta will not help. It has to be translated into Yatha Karma, practice also.